Everybody, welcome back to the channel. This video will be looking at this thing. This isn't the highest resolution picture, I know, it only goes up to 240p. As you can see, it's the very Rotodyne. So you can see it obviously at Farnborough. Right, so yeah, the thing was a aircraft-ish, well, an airplane kind of, also a helicopter, but it didn't work exactly like a helicopter. I mean, with it in X-Plane 11. As you can see, here we are in X-Plane 11. That is really loud, but anyway, well, it isn't for you because I turned down the volume. But here we are inside this thing. That's not a good interior, but yeah. So the Fairy Aviation Rotodyne, there we go, there's no more sound, was a aircraft developed by the British aviation company Fairy Aviation in the early 50s, and the idea, 60s, sorry, was that this isn't actually powered, this rotor up here, by a motor. It actually uses tip jets at the end of it, which blow out gases from ignition, like rocket engines, and then those help speed it up, and then the natural force of wind will push it, and that helps it as it generates lift. I mean, let's throttle up. So yeah, it is able to lift it up. Can we raise the gear? Brakes. Still can't raise the gear. Whatever. So yeah, this thing was trying to be a success. I mean, it could fly to things such as rooftops. As a helicopter airline, it would have worked on. Even though the Rotodyne, as I said, is kind of not a helicopter, it can also fly forwards without the use. Sure, right now I have to tilt downwards, pitch downwards to fly forwards horizontally, which is how helicopters work. But even with the rotor shut down, this thing could fly using those two turboprops. No, that's not the problem. The problem was was that, well, the airplane-ish, I'll stop saying that, the plane basically had it was very complex. It had a very complex design. This warranted Fairy Aviation to spend loads of money, and it was also incredibly loud. The thing is, the British government was just like in the 1950s and 60s. Right, we don't need all these relatively small companies competing. There's too many fish for this pond. So they forced the British companies to merge or no longer get government funding. So Fairy Aviation had to merge with another company, and so they lost all the funding for this because it was deemed to be too expensive and too costly to keep. The only one I can really think of, aviation project by the British, that was kept was the English Electric Lightning. Everything else they just scrapped that was being worked on at the time because it was just too far in development, the English Electric Lightning. But everything else they just didn't care about, and that was the main reason for Fairy. And also it was a very expensive airplane to produce, and there's barely any mock-ups left. There is, if you look up photos in Google Images. I crashed it already. That's a weird crash animation. Yeah, ignore the cockpit, it's not the best done. I didn't make this. But it does have some mock-ups left, but not really many. But yeah, there is a diagram of the fuselage left. You probably will, as I said, will find on Google. Yeah, apart from that, nothing really. It's a bit like the TSR2, which I'll have to make a video on in the future. How the British government just basically just got rid of it when it was so far into development. It was really far. It was like the X-33 Venture Star. Another thing that I'll have to make a video on. So yeah, this thing is really difficult to fly, but how about we try and do some tricks with it? So we're back here, and my idea is let's try and do a loop of this. It kind of, since this thing is lifting it off, even though it obviously doesn't have a motor, this rotor, if you flew upside down, the idea would be that the consensus would be that it would pull you just downwards, unlike airplanes, which won't directly, when inverted, do that. So let's just get tied up. As you know, I'm too lazy to do that. I think I took that. I just lost pitch control. I just lost pitch control over on. Right, take two. So here we are. Back again. And you notice it's not even actually going downwards. You have to break your axis of movement, but let's try and flip it from a third person vantage. Oh. God damn it! You can't. That's kind of a bit obvious why they can't, but yeah, good thing I have a G-force stress turned on, or else this thing would obviously be broken, but I just sheared the whole thing off. Please stop. Right, 400,000 feet over New York City. Also, if I move it down to the ground, I don't know why it's doing this. The plane's just going to be stuck like this, and the scenery isn't going to load properly. So I think that's the end of the video. So, okay guys, thank you for watching this video. Please drop a like down below if you enjoyed, and please do consider subscribing. And I'll see you in the next video, and as always, good night.